Hi, I am Krista West of Avlea Folk Embroidery, and this is the May Flosstube. So, I know I say this every time, but wow, I have a lot to show you. A lot of really exciting stuff. I've actually gotten a lot of design work lately, a lot of design time lately, which has been great. So, before I begin, I just want to give you my stuff. I'm Krista West. I'm the designer and owner of Avlea Folk Embroidery. You can see my entire range of designs at the website www.avlea.life. Why Avlea, you ask? Avlea in Greek means courtyard, and it's where the Greek women would have sat, through the centuries and sat and embroidered. And I just love that image, and so that's why I named it Avlea. Avlea is just a little easier to say in English. So you can also find me on Instagram. You've clearly already found me on YouTube. And I just want to thank you. I always just feel so grateful for all the people that are watching and subscribing. I'm super excited to tell you that I just hit over 2,000 Instagram subscribers. Now, for somebody who's younger, maybe that's not a big deal. But for me, at the, what should we say, well-preserved age of 51, I feel like that's a really awesome accomplishment. In fact, it's allowing me to actually start up this month. We're actually going to start doing a little advertising of Avlea, which is pretty exciting. And my little ad guy was like, well, yeah, actually part of that is going to be a little easier because, you know, you've really devoted the time to the Instagram account. And I really do try, like every post, I want to make sure that whatever I'm showing is something beautiful and something inspiring, something that people will look at and think, wow, that made my day better. So that's always really what motivates me for Instagram. And I think I've probably said this in other floss tubes, but I also find Instagram, it was something I was really scared of for a really long time, so I didn't do it. But I actually really enjoy the way that it really is like this little snapshot into my creative world and what I'm working on. So I really like that aspect. So I find it actually really fun to like keep my Instagram account going with different posts and things like that. And we've got some really fun stuff coming up on the Instagram account too. And spread the word. Word of mouth is still the very best thing for letting other stitchers, other friends know about Avlea. It's growing, you know, slowly but surely, and that is just so exciting for me that so many of these historic Mediterranean designs are reaching a whole new generation and a whole new audience because they're really compelling. So let's jump in and talk about the new releases. So I'm trying to get on a schedule of releasing every other month. It just makes kind of the administrative side of things a little easier for me, and I feel like it's helping me build better releases so that there's a little something for everyone in every release. And so usually my releases from now on are going to be every other month, 2 to 3 designs. The one exception to that is going to be the pomegranate collection patterns. Now, for those of you who haven't seen those on the website, here's what they are. I love to design, and I can design at a pace that is far beyond what I can actually stitch. I do have a number of friends now helping me with the sample stitching, but seriously, I can design a 13,000 stitch thing in like, you know, a few hours. And I'm doing this based on like historic motifs. I'll see a little snippet of something and then I'll use my design software to create it. And I am just having so much fun with that. And I don't want to wait until things release in like, you know, we stitched a sample and photographed and everything. So the pomegranate collection patterns are $5 downloads. They're only available as downloads. I guess later on we could consider producing them as paper patterns, but right now the downloads seem to work. And why they're $5 as opposed to my other downloads, which I think are 10 on the website, is because they don't have a stitch sample. What they show as the cover image of the pattern is the actual full-size chart of the design. But these designs are oftentimes the more, they have more stitches, they're more intricate, or they're based on something that I'm not certain that like if we sold it as a kit, it would be very saleable, usually due to the size. And so I'm putting those patterns there first. And it's really fun to see what people are grabbing from the pomegranate collection. I've been really pleased with the fact that most of them actually are appealing to a lot of people, which is great. There's maybe one clinker in there. And that's helping me too, to get a better sense of what you, the stitcher, wants, like to be stitching, and what of the of kind of the folk embroidery canon like appeals to you. The top selling one there is the Penelope's Garden, which is really, really beautiful. Beautiful. It's based off of a bed sheet from, I think, the Ionian Islands, if I have that right. Yeah. So I just released a couple of new ones there. I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's jump in and talk about releases, because I am kind of getting ahead of myself. So the first release that we have this month is, did I bring all the releases? Wait, I'm missing one. What am I missing? Oh, I know what I'm missing. Anyways, the first release is a new hoop kit. Really exciting. So those of you who have gone to the Avlea website, you know that I'm kind of unique in that I do both surface embroidery hoop kits and I do counted thread or cross stitch. I do both kinds. Because there's just not one kind of embroidery for everybody. And these are allow me to take some of the historical motifs that I know from my career as an ecclesiastical tailor. That's what I've done for 25 years. That's like all the stuff behind me. That allows me to take those things and put them into a format that is really accessible to the modern stitcher. This is our newest one. It's called Aegean Sunrise. Doesn't it just make you think of a sunny beach in the Aegean? Oh my word. So this is actually based off of a folk art from Crete of a sun, very similar to this, but I've worked it with really fun sunny colors. It's actually got both golden olive and old gold in it, so there's kind of like a two-tone gold effect going on. I wanted that effect of like kind of gold and brass in this, kind of give that aged effect. And it has Romanian couching, satin stitch, more satin stitch, double buttonhole. What am I forgetting? Pekingese on this one? No Pekingese on this one. Anyways, super easy, great beginner kit. And if you've wanted to really perfect your Romanian couching, this is an awesome, awesome kit for that. You will really get the feel of the Romanian couching by working these kind of the starburst part of the design. So these are on the website now. And just to give a little plug for my hoop kits, I have spent so much time and energy in creating a very high quality hoop kit experience. There's a lot of them out there, and some of them are on kind of the cheaper end, but I felt like, boy, if somebody was picking up an embroidery hoop kit for the first time, I really want them to experience like all that the textile world has to offer in a tiny package. So I use, actually, this is Robert Kaufman Kona cotton. It's a very high quality, very well respected quilting cotton. DMC floss. The design is hand stamped onto the fabric. Actually, it's kind of funny. Not always hand stamped. We could even say foot stamped, because some designs are actually a little easier for me to stand on the stamp and get it onto the fabric. So sometimes I actually do stand on the stamp. Don't worry, I put like a piece of paper down on the floor when I do it, so it's very tidy. But anyways, and then it also includes a John James needle imported from England, and then a really nice little basic bamboo hoop. So these are awesome for beginners, or when you want a small project, or when you want to give a gift. And then I've packaged them all in eco-friendly packaging, so everything can either be used or recycled. That was really important to me. Those of you who have watched me know my struggle for trying to find a eco-friendly solution to the plastic bags that we put the cross-stitch kits in. I am still working on that. I'm looking into glassine envelopes next. So that's the next thing on that list. So that's the Aegean Sunrise. Okay. The next one coming up, which is really fun, I just finished it. I don't have a name for it yet, but a number of you actually on the last Flosstube weighed in on the colors for the flowers. And actually, interestingly enough, this was so weird, but it turned out that all of your recommendations actually worked in the flower. So I actually ended up using pink and garnet and blue in those flowers, and they just look awesome. I'm not really sure what I'm going to name it yet. It's from a brass tray, a brass little coffee tray that I actually found in a flea market in Thessaloniki. And I just love the design so much, and I could just totally see it embroidered. So that one's coming up next. Probably that'll be the July release. That's right. I'm getting on that every other month schedule. So that'll be July. Then the other thing in the May release that I just released is the Minoan Mermaid. And I completely forgot to grab a kit for that to show you. And the sample is actually off in the sample box. So that one is actually a very sweet little mermaid. based on the kind of mermaids that you see, particularly in Cretan island embroidery. The island of Crete has a very specific type of embroidery. It's not cross stitch, it's a surface stitch. This is actually a cross stitch kind of adaptation. But Cretan embroidery, if you've never seen it, Google images Cretan embroidery. Oh my word, it will blow your mind. It's so fabulous. Very, very heavy, lavish embroidery on their folk costume, on the women's, usually in the skirt borders, up to 2 feet in depth. We are talking hardcore embroidery. Gorgeous, beautiful, intense colors, reds and greens and blues and golds. And they oftentimes show human figures, a lot of flowers and floral designs, and sometimes double-tailed mermaids. And so that was what I wanted to do, but I wanted to do it in something that was a little less than, 2 feet, by 5 feet, embroidery that would probably take you like 10 years. So the Minoan Mermaid kit is new. And then the last design in the May release is Venetian Floriale. And this one I brought down with my roses because I've been actually enjoying it in my own entryway table with a vase of roses, which I really like. This design is my first table runner design on what is new to me is the legacy linen that has taken the place of the old dower linen. So the dower linen, I still have a little bit of it left. It was discontinued. For those of you not in the know, the dower linen was this super gorgeous, hefty 30 count linen that Legacy produced for many, many years. Some shops still have some. It was awesome for embroidered household linens, things like table runners, pillow cushions, indestructible. I have pieces that I worked probably 15, maybe 18 years ago on the legacy linen. And it's just wonderful. Washes beautifully in a washing machine. It's really amazing. And I really wanted that for most of my kits, but it was discontinued. So I only have about maybe 10 yards left, and I'm prioritizing that for certain kits like Olivine, which is a kit that's been really popular. And then I will be doing I'm actually working on a border design right now that I'm hoping to use for like my last little bit of the legacy. But that means that I needed to find a substitute. And so my lovely friend over at Access Commodities sent me over this, and this is the legacy linen in the Victoria sponge cake. Now, first off, I adore the color. I would say I like the color better than the coconut macaroon in the legacy dower. So on the color front, simply awesome. It's got an aged quality without being too dark or too ecru. It's really like just a really classic warm white. What I love about that is that it goes with so many different floss color combinations. Like this one is a very warm palette, as you can see. Actually, I should show you the right end of the design, shouldn't I? Very warm palette. This design is worked in 806 Wedgwood, 924 gray green very light, 21 alizarin, and 733 medium olive. Sorry, those two are very close. And then with like kind of the gray brown outlining. But you could just as easily put some of the cooler colors, like some of the reds or the blues on this linen, and it would look just as good. So the color I feel like is a definite upgrade actually, which was a big surprise to me. Now, it is not quite as thick as the dower linen was, but the upside of that is that it's a little easier to see the stitches, to see the threads, to count your threads for stitching. And I really liked that. And I have to say, now that I've finished it all the way, I do like the way that it does have that sort of like antique linen look, and it's a little thinner. And I actually like that. So I'm currently working on a new design, which I'll show you in a minute, that's on this. And this is what I'll be switching to from the dower linen. So I'm actually really excited about the switch. We need to be open to new things. Sometimes I'm not, especially with textiles. I can get kind of old and cranky and stuck in my ways. But this was one where I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. The one place that I feel like this might be a smidge thin for is cushion covers, because I'm a little concerned about the cushion showing through, but I think we can solve that problem by maybe a backlining or something like that. And I am still searching for like something to truly replace like the legacy dower, that hefty quality. So those are the May releases: Venetian Floriale, Aegean Sunrise, and Minoan Mermaid. So I'm working on the next ones, which are the soon to be named hoop kit. I'm also, the other design I have in process right now that is really kind of fun. I am getting a very loyal following of guys who stitch. Love y'all. So I have had a number of guys email me, reach out to me, because they are looking for things to stitch that are more, shall we say, geometric or masculine in its design. The kind of things that appeal to some of us women, you know, the more sentimental, the more sort of cutesy stuff, doesn't really appeal to the guy stitchers. So the guy stitchers, they want some manly stitching. So I decided to start working on some more designs that were those all over designs, like Aegean Octagon is actually still remains one of my top selling designs because it's just a very simple repeat. It's an octagon design that's worked both. It's worked in an X in the middle of the section and as an octagon on the outer border. It's really cool. That has still been very, very popular because it's wonderful when you want like a table runner or a table mat or a cushion cover that's got a more geometric feel, that is more looks like sort of a made textile as opposed to like a figural embroidery, like a picture of something. So I've been doing more of that. More of these are coming because I personally love to stitch these. I usually like to have one of each going at any given time. I like to have a figural piece going or something that I have to really follow the chart closely. And then I like to have something that's more meditative like this. And so this is going to be the new one. You can see actually I'm prepping it for hem stitching today. But this is going to be, I'm not entirely sure the name, but I'm thinking Roman Mosaic maybe. I've got to like play around with it. But isn't it fab? And it's my first kit all in green, which is great. So this is actually the 936. I don't know if I have it right here. Oh, I think I do. Yes. Nope. Wrong one. Okay, I don't have the cone right here. Oh, wait, do I? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's the 936 green with the 733. Where did I put it? Here it is. With the 733 medium olive, and then a little outlining of, and I moved that one too, but it's a little outlining with blue, just a tiny, tiny smidge of blue. Wow. Do these two babies sing to each other? Woo! So much fun to stitch. These just like, they just glow together. This like olivey green and then the deep, deep, rich kind of avocado green. Oh, wow. This was such a fun piece to stitch. And it would be awesome. This design is so easy that you could easily buy the bit kit and then just use it, the pattern for a bigger runner. You would just work, you know, however many repeats you want across. I did the bit kit because I really wanted a bit kit in green, but I think you could easily turn this into, it'd be awesome as a cushion cover. That would be cool. You could also work it with a different colorway. Just swap out the two colors of your choice. So it could be worked in, say, burgundy and red, or it would also be fabulous in blues. I actually considered working it in blues, but you know that green was calling to me. So that one's coming. Now, also coming up, and I didn't press it, so she doesn't look very pretty right now, but I'll at least show it to you because several of you have asked because I showed it in Instagram. This is another all over design that I'm working on. Now, let's see if I can show you that. And this is going to be a small table mat kit. And this one's really cool. It's got that same 733 medium olive. Can you tell I'm having a moment with that color? Oh my word, I love that color. Anyways, and so it's that, but it's with 927, the gray green very light, and the alizarin, which is sort of like a very, very soft coral. Where's my 924? These. And these also just sing together. I think on camera, they look a little bit like baby pink, baby blue, but they don't look like that when in the stitched piece. They have this really soft, kind of like aged. They really, actually, now that I think about it, have a very kind of 1930s vibe when those sort of soft pastels were used. That design will be coming up. It'll be another one that I'll kit it up as a small like table mat, but it will be awesome for adapting to the runner or cushion cover or whatever like size that you like. Very, very adaptable design. So you can see I'm definitely trending towards more like all over designs because you guys have asked for them. And I really, really like doing the all over designs. But the thing is naming them has been challenging because the problem is that, I mean, there are only so many cities in Greece. And as you can see, like I name a lot of my designs after places and I try to get them like fairly close to where the original embroidery, the inspiration would have come from. But the problem is a lot of these designs, we don't know where they came from. Sometimes I'll just see a snippet of them. Like this one, I literally just saw like the little tiny center motif in an old French needlework booklet that was published in Greece. So it's like you just don't always know where they came from. So I decided we're going to start just giving them names. We're going to name them like people because it'll be easier. So this one is going to be Tansy, just because it looks like a little tansy flower, and I really like that name. So we're going to start doing that. Now, next up, I've got 2 more designs to show you, so thanks for hanging out with me today. The next one, I'm kind of excited about this. A couple of years ago, when I was my very first year at Nashville, it was actually, what would that be, 2019? So my very first time at Nashville, one of the other designers came into my booth and she said, "Oh my word, you should do a sampler." And I'm like, "What? A sampler?" And then she was like, "Well, there are these things called band samplers." So here we have just shown you that I like knew nothing of like what went on in the cross stitch industry when I entered it. And she was like, no, there are these samples, or there's all these different borders on them. You know, this would really like be great for you. And so it's always kind of been in the back of my mind. So last fall, I created a design that is basically like a little band sampler. Now, this is actually, we haven't finished it yet because I'm going to be using it in the next week or two. I'm going to be using this to do a wall hanging demo video. Those of you who have visited the how-to page on the website can see that I've been upgrading. She's got a nice little like facelift. It's actually really great. I've worked with Wix on my 2 websites for the last 4 years. I've had both my websites through Wix. And I actually just a few months ago got assigned a Wix agent because I've been a loyal client, which is like so exciting and nice, you know? And like they're not charging me for it, which is super cool too. And he's like this young, hip techie guy. And like he does website design and he's like, "Krista, like you need to do some of this stuff different." And I'm like, I just have to be open to these things, you know, because I am kind of old and cranky. And so I'm like, "Nathan, you show me the way." Okay. And so Nathan has been really helpful in showing me like how I need to adapt things and make the website more accessible. Anyways, so one of the things that we've been upgrading is all of the how-to stuff so that it's none of those old step-by-step photos. Sorry, they're very ancient. And I've been changing everything out to how-to videos. Now, part of the challenge in that for me is that my basement studio has lighting issues. It's hard for me to get things really heavily lit enough for videos like over my sewing area. So I'm working on that, and that's been part of the holdup, but I'm figuring it out, which has been kind of exciting. So this will be used. This is Kefalonia carnations, and it's actually done. I intentionally designed it with a 6-color palette. So basically there's color 1, color 2, color 3, color 4, color 5, color 6, and then like, I think 2 shades of green, and that's it. Because you can change it out to the colors of your choice, the 6 gradations that you want. So if you want it in blues, if you wanted it in purples, if you wanted it in golds, whatever you want it in, you can do it in whatever kind of color family you like. So I'll be using this soon, but this one's really fun. She's got tons of really neat, like I used a bunch of the really cool border designs that are seen like all throughout Greek embroidery. And then this one, actually the carnations at the top, is a really common. Those serrated carnations are found a lot in folk embroidery. And so I use those too. Anyway, so look, this will be part of the July release. This and the hoop kit and the small bit kit. That's what's coming next in the next release. Oh gosh, and probably Tansy. We're going to be busy. Now, the next thing I want to show you that I'm working on, and this is what I'll kind of end on today, is a beautiful new design I'm really excited about. Now, a few days ago, well, not a few days ago, a few weeks ago, well, actually a few months ago, I started working on this design and I had it partially done. And then I kind of set it aside and forgot about it. And then a couple of weeks ago, I pulled it out and I was like, oh, I should really start on that. And there's my alarm going off. Oh my word. You know what? I'm going to go turn the alarm off and then be right back. So hang on there. You can like look at the roses while I'm gone. Isn't that funny? It's like I always put my phone in do not disturb, but my alarms to remind me about things because I would forget things if I don't have alarms on my phone, like still go off. So there you go. That can be like extra piece of information for you today. How does Krista do things with the alarms on my phone? Because I would literally just go down the design or making rabbit hole like all day long if I didn't have designs or alarms to remind me to like do stuff like normal stuff. So, anyways, so I had this design shelved. I pulled it out a couple weeks ago and thought, I really, really want to start stitching that. And then I went into there's this little shop near our house, and it's this sweetest little thrift store that is run by the Assistance League of ladies in our city. And it's so cool. They use it, all their proceeds, they're all volunteer run, and all their proceeds go to giving coats to all the little kids in my city that don't have coats in the winter. It's just really sweet. So it's these lovely older ladies. And this particular thrift store specializes in China. Oh boy. It's sort of my Xanadu. So I go in and and they've been closed for months and months and months due to COVID. And I mean, one time I scored an entire set, 16 Lenox gold rimmed glasses that matched my Lenox china. And I got them for like $40. And like another time, I mean, I have just made more scores in there of like old, beautiful dishes. But so I'm in there last week. I'm working on this design, which is done in blues, in a shade of blue that I haven't really used a lot before. And I'm in there and I see this amazing 1930s casserole dish with this like oh so fab like art deco handle. It's just beautiful. It's this amazing piece of china. And of course, I got it for a song because everything in there is really inexpensive. And I was like, oh my word, it and the embroidery are totally like wanting to hang out together. So, the minute I brought it home, these two just sang. They were like, can we be friends? So this is the new design. Well, let me show you the other side because it's a little better. This is going to be the new Larkspur and Primrose design. And oh, it's so much fun. I'm stitching this on the Legacy Linen Victoria Sponge Cake. This will be available as a kit, probably in the September release, I'm guessing. It's just fabulous. I love it because it has this almost Asian little flair going on. It's got this kind of Mediterranean Asian vibe going on because of the way these leaves out here in the corner, these leaves have this really kind of Asian feel. And then you have these really cool little Greek meanders here. I just love them. And then what's super cool, and it's hard to see quite yet because I haven't finished the bottom section. I'm totally covering up my microphone. Sorry about that. But when these flowers come here, you end up with basically a diamond within a square sort of motif. And when I put this together with the beautiful china dish, oh my word, it's just gonna look amazing. Look at that. Oh my word. So I'm thinking, and I'm actually really close to having this done. And so I'm thinking that in June, for the June Flosstube, what we might do is we might go on a field trip. Wouldn't that be fun? So I think for the June Flosstube, I have to figure out the tech part. Maybe I just walk around with my camera. I'm not really sure how that works. So I've got to find out because as we all know, I'm kind of tech challenged. But I am going to go around my house and show all the ways that I display and use textiles in my house. I thought that could be kind of fun. So June, look forward to the field trip, the Flosstube field trip. So that's kind of what's been going on in the workshop. And then I have like a bunch of more fun designs that I've been working on. I'm right now, over the summer, I'll be deciding what designs go into the 2022 like latter part of 2021, 2022 lineup. And that's been really, really fun because I'm learning that I have to plan way in advance. And so I've got some fabulous new Latvian stuff coming along. Oh my word. Latvian embroidery. I thought I'd lose my mind. I had this woman on eBay who had a whole cache of Latvian needlework booklets, vintage ones. Oh my word, they're so fabulous. I mean, they're all very like black and white, very grainy. You really have to kind of use your imagination, but they're super cool. Very interesting, the Latvian stuff. so much resonance with Byzantine and Greek designs. I mean, it just shocks me. Like every time I turn a page, I'm like, oh my word, I've seen that like in the Greek islands, or I've seen that like in a Byzantine design. Very interesting. So much interchange there. I don't really know how that happened, but it's very cool. So I think that's it for another Flosstube. Thank you so much for spending the morning with me, or spending this time with me whenever you watch. Thank you for watching. Subscribers like you are really helpful. It's just so great. People who subscribe, people who watch, this all really helps basically support my design work, and for me to be able to continue to release these kind of historic designs, which is totally what I just love doing all the time. So if you have any questions, you can always email me. The Avlea website has the email right down at the bottom. And oh, I forgot to mention, the May special on the website is spend $50 and get a free needle minder. And I'll put in one of the pink Avlea needle minders, but if you want one of the blue Arcadian rose ones, just tell me in your order notes. And then also the May bundle. Actually, I've got this new thing with the releases where you can buy the bundle of the release. You get 10% off. That means you get one of each design. So you get one Venetian Floriale, one Aegean Sunrise, one Minoan Mermaid. You get 10% off and a free needle minder. So that's kind of fun. I'm going to start doing that with every release, is offer a bundle. So thank you again for joining me. I'm Krista West of Avlea Folk Embroidery.